Bonjour, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks. This is episode 14 on YouTube. So, wanted to go over my predictions for tonight's UFC 277. Also, give my predictions about tonight's event, also for WWE Summerslam. Also, wanted to go over um, the comedy shows over at the boxing club if I haven't done so already, and the comedy show over at the Social, Above Ash Social. Both venues downtown San Diego, beautiful. So let's get into it, guys. Um, so UFC 277 is happening in Dallas, Texas. I think it's the what is it, the American Airlines Arena. Um, you got a lot of fights, great fights on the card. My first prediction, it's Kase going up against Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond, for those of you that might remember, he is actually part of Israel Adesanya's City Boxing Club, City Kickboxing team. Um, Blood Diamond is actually the slight underdog in this fight against Kase. Kase actually did come in a little overweight, 1.5 pounds. Um, if I had to pick the winner in this fight, I am picking Blood Diamond to win tonight. He actually might win by KO. Next up on the card, you have a light heavyweight fight between um Nagumer Amadou, no, wait, Nagumer and now 12-1. He is a slight favorite against the 19-2 even money underdog Potiaria. And if I had to pick a winner in this fight, I am picking Potiera to win this fight. Okay. Next fight on that card, we got Edwards, 11-4, slight favorite in the women's bantamweight division, going up against Kim, who is 9-5-2. Edwards actually did come in a little overweight, 1.5 pounds. If I had to pick a winner, though, I think I'll get Kim to win this fight against Edwards. So should be a good fight. Um, the next fight on the card, um, it's the heavy favorite Morales, who's 13-0. I'm actually looking forward to this fight to see how great of a fighter this guy is, and he's going up against the underdog, the 8-2 Fugit. Uh, this fight is at 170, so I'm kind of curious if Morales here is going to be able to be a problem for all those in the top 15 of the welterweight division. So I'm actually going to be excited to see that fight. Quick mention, I'll be at the Pitchers Bar in Rancho Penasquitos watching UFC 277. I will try to stream on my phone through the Peacock app on WWE Summerslam at the same time, so I can try to watch both at the same time and be caught up. So I won't see any spoilers from anybody on either one. So got everything set up. I even have a brand new power bank, which served me pretty well from Best Buy. Kind of love it. Okay, back into the predictions. I am picking Morales to win that fight against Fugit. So the next fight after that, we have the 12-2 and 1, the favorite Klose Kloss. He's going up against the 14-2 Garcia. This one should be a good fight. These fights are going to be on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus. So a lot of good fights today. If I had to pick a winner, I'm picking Kloss to win this fight. Next fight after that, we have a heavyweight fight between Mays, 9-4. He is the favorite, going up against Abel Wahab, who is the underdog. He's 5-0. If I had to pick, I'll pick Mays to win this fight. I have a feeling it's not going to go the entire 3 rounds, but cardio is always a problem with heavyweights usually. So next fight after that, we have a lightweight fight, 24-11 Dober, who is the favorite, slight favorite, going up against Alves, who is 12-20-10. I'm picking Dober to win that fight. Should be a good one. That one probably feels like it's going to go the entire distance. Oh, now we have the featured prelim fight of the night. We got the 21-7 Morono. He's a slight underdog going up against the slight favorite, the 10-3 Samelsberger. This one I think is also going to go probably all 3 rounds, go to the decision, and I am picking Samelsberger to win this fight over Morono. Now we get to the main card, the fights that everyone has been looking forward to. You got the underdog, the 36-16 Lionheart, Anthony Smith. He was on his way up. He could have had the championship from Bones Jones, but he wanted to fight it out, but he ended up losing that championship fight anyway. He has some hiccups the last few years, but he's been picking up some wins lately. He's going up against the heavy favorite, the 17-1 Ankalev. Ankalev, you may remember, had taken out the very scary looking Kutilaba, who always seems to try to stare you down at the face-offs and the intros. So didn't work out for Kutilaba because Ankalev weathered the storm, kept his composure, and he'd been finishing his opponents with his stand-up game. And I would imagine he has some good grappling too. So if I had to pick a winner, I am picking Ankalev to win this fight against Lionheart. The next fight after that, we have a flyweight fight between Pantoja, who is the slight favorite, 24-5. He's going up against the 24-6, the slight underdog, Perez. Should be a fast, exciting fight. You might have a finish in this fight. I have a feeling it's gonna be a finish. I'm picking Pantoja to win this fight over Perez. The next fight after that is a heavyweight fight. We got Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. He's a slight underdog in this one. He's 26-9. He did lose his last fight to Tai Tuivasa, Mr. Shui. It was like a drive-by elbow to the face that, took out Derek Lewis and he face planted. That was a sight to see. He's going up against a slight favorite, Pavlovich, who's 15-1. He has quite a bit of finishes under his belt, actually, and his last few victories have been by first round finish, submission, or KO. So I have a feeling that Pavlovich might be able to take out Derek Lewis. If not, just win on points. But I think he's going to knock out Derek Lewis, actually, which is kind of becoming more apparent now. You're seeing Ciro Gain and Tuivasa both finishing Derek Lewis. So it is possible to knock out Derek Lewis. And I think Pavlovich might have something there too. But Derek Lewis does. This could be a good victory for him to bounce back from, but I have a feeling Pavlovich will win this fight. The next fight after that is the co-main event. It is for the interim men's flyweight championship. You got the favorite, the 19-6-2, Brandon Moreno. He's gone up against the underdog Kai Kara France, 24-9. Should be a good, fast-paced fight. I don't think there's going to be a finish. It will go all 5 rounds, but I'm picking Brandon Moreno to win this fight and become the interim flyweight champion and have his 4th fight with Figueiredo to unify those titles. And should be an exciting fight. I look forward to this one. So the next fight is the fight that we've all been waiting for. The rematch in the main event. We got the current 135-pound bantamweight champion Juliana Pena, who pulled off the biggest shocker last year. She defeated the GOAT of women's MMA, Amanda Nunes, who is technically still the 145-pound women's featherweight champion, which only has like maybe at least 2 fighters in the division, herself and Norma Dumont. But I mean, I'm sure there's some other 145ers, but some of them might have been mostly 135ers. I'm still waiting for the arrival of Kayla Harrison. She's the 155 women's lightweight champion over at the PFL. She only signed like a 1-year contract, and knowing her personality and what she said out to the public, that she's only going to tie to any fight league for a year. She doesn't want to be tied down. So who knows? Kelly Harrison might be in the UFC and take on Amanda Nunes, or better yet, might even take on Juliana Pena. That's fun to see. But going back to Nunes and Pena, should be a good fight. I think it might go a little bit longer than the first fight. I think the first fight only went, I think it went 2nd round, I believe. So I think Pena is going to pull it off again, and she'll be able to defeat Amanda Nunes. Even though the money would say that Amanda Nunes might be able to retain her title, but I have a feeling that Amanda Nunes might not be the same person as we saw in her loss last time. So I think this might be the era of Juliana Pena going forward. And I mentioned that there is kind of a fighter's cliff in a fighter's career, and I think at this time, this is when you're going to start seeing Amanda Nunes in a competitive division, that this is probably the cliff for Amanda Nunes in that division. So I mean, she can rule the 145 class, but there's not many fighters in that one. But the 135 class, well, I have a feeling that it's gonna be someone else's division right now, and it's gonna be Juliana Pena, and I have Pena winning tonight. So proved the first time was not a fluke. So there you have it, guys. Those are my predictions for UFC 277. Um, so let's get into the other card that's happening at the same time, actually, the WWE Summerslam Premium Live event. It is held at the Nissan Stadium out in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee. Kudos to my favorite country pop singer, very versatile, Sarah Darling. So for WWE's Premium Live event, this is the second time they've run at the same time as the UFC event for their major event. So I wonder how they're doing about that. But it's great for me because I like to watch both. So I'm gonna be very occupied tonight, watching both at Pitcher's Bar in Rancho Penasquitos. My phone will have the Peacock app on to watch WWE from 4 to 8 o'clock or 5 to 8 o'clock. And then you got the UFC event running from, I think, 3:30 until 10 o'clock. So, um, so one of the matches tonight, the main event, let's get to the main event about that. It is a last man standing match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. You got the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns defending his title in this match. There'll be no pinfalls or submission for the final result. It's just simply two guys, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, fighting each other until one can no longer um, answer the 10 count. So they're gonna probably be fighting in the ring. They'll be fighting outside the ring. They'll be fighting in the crowd. Probably there'll be a lot of stuff being hit with each other. Um, it could be a lot of things. Could be a lot of interferences too, but I think it'll be a good fight. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, they've had this long-standing rivalry for years. At first, in the beginning, it was kind of lopsided with Brock Lesnar winning most of the matches, but now, as time went on, Roman Reigns had been winning a lot of the matches lately. So this is actually going to be the very last match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in the rivalry. So this will be the big finish. Kind of excited for it. I want to see how it turns out. Um, a lot of hard hitting stuff. You'll probably see a you probably see a guillotine choke from Roman Reigns, or you might see the Kimura lock from Brock Lesnar. So a lot of stuff, everything's gonna be thrown into this one. Um, Probably larger major spots, great moments, a lot of false finishes, F5s, Superman punches, spears. Um, so Suplex City. So I'm excited about that. And I'm actually kind of glad that the main event for WWE Summerslam won't be at the same time wise for UFC 277. I would figure around 7:30, 7:45 is when they're going to put up the main event of SummerSlam. And that's usually like the first or second fight of the UFC main card. So, but again, I'll be watching both at the same time, so it shouldn't really matter. Um, and I do have my power bank, so it should keep me occupied and powered up to watch both, and I don't have to worry about my phone dying in the middle of either event. So, but going back to it, I am picking Brock Lesnar to win this one to end their rivalry. And who knows? You might not see Roman Reigns. You might not see Brock Lesnar. There is some kind of a teaser where you saw Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar, who've only faced each other one time, and that was at WrestleMania, what, 30, 37, I think. I don't know, 36. Drew McIntyre defeated Brock Lesnar for the I believe it was the Universal Championship. Um uh So there's that. There's also a bit of a thing going on between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. So that could work out as well. But you kind of have a wild card there with Austin Theory with his Money in the Bank briefcase, and you can cash in on either Brock or Roman Reigns, which I would say is the perfect time because they're going to destroy each other, and it'll just make sense that Austin Theory will cash in at that time. It would be a smart move. I would have done it too. Um, Now, on the rest of the card, Austin Theory does have a match on the card, actually. He's going to try to get back his United States Championship from the champion, Bobby Lashley, who I think is also kind of in the mix too, to go after the championship, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And I have a feeling Bobby Lashley is going to win that one. I mean, it's possible Theory might sneak a victory and get the United States Championship and cash in and get that undisputed WWE Universal Championship and hold both championships at the end of the night. But I have a feeling that Austin Theory is going to end up with either one, and he's going to have a failed cash in attempt. And I think I've only seen um like two failed attempts to win the championship. One was Happy Corbin. I think he tried to cash in on, what was it, AJ Styles, I think, uh, or Roman Reigns, or might have been against Braun Strowman. I don't know. I just remembered Happy Corbin he got rolled up and he got pinned trying to cash in, and he lost his opportunity right there and then. Uh, I think the other time, I think John Cena tried to challenge the champion. He just used it. He didn't surprise the champ. He challenged him like in an actual match at an event, but he came up short. I remember that part. So, it's interesting. I think John Cena has been a part of a lot of first, but I think he's always been kind of on the bad end of those first. I remember he lost to a challenger on the challenger's first night, and he lost his championship that night to what was his name, Carlito. um he also lost to Kevin Federline in Kevin Federline's first wrestling match. um so I remember the Nexus beating up on John Cena. That was probably another one, first one. um you've seen John Cena fight The Rocks. That was the first time too. That actually turned out pretty well. He had a one. He had split the series 1-1 with The Rock. Um, uh, and then there was those times when Brock Lesnar came out and surprised John Cena, and they've had their long rivalry. But I think Brock Lesnar has won that rivalry, so they won't be fighting each other anytime soon. Um, and the first time John Cena actually was in WWE, and he lost to Kurt Angle his first official night. But John Cena ended up having a great career in WWE. So, um, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a good night for Austin Theory. Um, I mean, he has two chances to win, but I don't think he's gonna be able to. Well, he won't win the United States Championship for sure. I have a feeling Bobby Lashley's gonna keep it tonight, but it's an interesting thing about the Austin Theory and the trying to cash in after Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns destroy each other tonight and pick up the pieces and have an easy victory to claim the Universal Championship, the WWE, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So, um, there's that. So I'll be tuning in. I'll be kind of curious how it's going to play out. That's the beauty of it. See how things turn out. Um, so going down the card, we also have both women's championships on the line. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair will defending her championship against Becky Lynch. They work pretty well. I actually like them working together, and they put on some good matches. And I have a feeling that Bianca Belair will retain her title. She'll defeat Becky Lynch. The other women's championship, you have the SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan defending her championship against Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan did cash in on Ronda Rousey the same night she won the Money in the Bank briefcase. That was fun. And I like Liv Morgan as champ. I want her to have at least another, couple months as champ. But I think she's gonna have like a trilogy fight type feel to her thing with her program with Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey will. I feel that she's gonna win tonight, beat Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey will go at it one more time after tonight, but I think Ronda Rousey will finish the trilogy between the two. So, and then they can both go in separate directions. Ronda Rousey will face a new challenger after that, and Liv Morgan will probably try to climb her way back up again. So there is Asuka, there is Natalia. Who knows? You might have Charlotte coming back. You might even bring back Sasha Banks if she comes back from her hiatus with Naomi. By the way, the women's tag team championships are kind of just not being talked about, and they're not being featured right now because you have Naomi and Sasha either both been released after walking out, and well, now that Vince McMahon has retired from WWE, which is the big news this week, maybe a lot of them might be able to come back and you know, work for WWE and have better storylines, better showcase of their characters and personalities, and better showcase of their ring work. So I would say the future's kind of bright. Um, see how they're gonna do everything now that Stephanie and Triple H are gonna be running the show from now on. And this is kind of like a long time coming. And the fans might be in for a treat, seeing how the product will go forward from here on out. So no more influence from Vince McMahon. So I mean, kudos for Vince McMahon, putting this all together over the years. But um, times are changing. So hopefully for the best. Um, well, yeah. So we covered the both women's championships. We've covered the United States Championship, the main event, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So that's four. So there's four other fights on the SummerSlam card. You got the Mysterios, Ray and Dominic going up against the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Um, Rey Mysterio just celebrated 20 years of being in, I guess, WWE and wrestling. I think that's what it is. 20 years of being in. Has it been 20 years? You know what? It does feel like it's been 20. Yeah, 20 years in WWE. So Rey Mysterio 20-year anniversary was being in WWE. So he had it at the Madison Square Garden. It was a great celebration. He even won his match that night against Finn Balor, um, Judgment Day. But Judgment Day got the last laugh that night, and they took out Rey Mysterio, beat him up after his celebration. Um, you even saw Rhea Ripley show up, and she pushed Aaliyah, Aaliyah Gutierrez, daughter of Rey Mysterio. So that was an interesting face to face. Rhea Ripley. Now that she's back healthy now, and yeah, they uh, they got the upper hand. They got the better of their Mysterios. And I remembered Damian Priest and Damian Priest and Finn Balor pretty much tried to get Dominic to join, and then the moment that Dominic said that he would join Finn Balor and Damian Priest, they beat him up and told him that's not how it works. So, but I think um Finn Balor and Damian Priest, they were work as a great tag team actually. So they should be going after the tag team championships actually, for the time being. So I think they can work as a dominant tandem along with Rhea Ripley. So I think Rhea Ripley, now that she's back in the picture, she can challenge Bianca or whoever wins between Bianca and Becky for the Raw Women's Championship. And Finn Balor and Damian Priest, I think they can beat either the Usos or the Street Profits for the tag team championships, the undisputed tag team championships. So, um, also want to mention, um, so uh, those tag team championships, they're also undisputed championships right now. So I feel that they're also going to be. I mean, it used to be a great idea that you have a championship for both shows, but I think it's great to have one champion because you can have you can set up a number one contenders match on the show that does not feature the champion so that they can challenge the future champion at a later date. So it does provide great content and drama and better storylines to be built for giving opportunities to other tag teams, other wrestlers, superstars, and then they can work towards the end goal of trying to win or just being in the the championship picture. So there's that. So speaking of which, the undisputed tag team championships is also on the line. Street Profits challenging the Usos. Um, so I they put a guest referee for this one, Jeff Jarrett. Um, he there's a little bit of controversy last time the Street Profits had fought the Usos. Montez Ford, his shoulder was up when the Usos pinned him to retain those undisputed tag team championships. Uh, so it should be a good match. It actually might be match of the night, actually. Um, I have a feeling that the Street Profits will win tonight and become the new undisputed tag team champions. And you know what? I have a feeling that the Judgment Day might actually challenge them on the next night if the Usos aren't going to do that already. If that's what's going to happen tonight if the Street Profits do win. So I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of tag teams fight, fighting for the chance to face the new champs or whoever the champ's going to be come uh, Monday night going forward on both shows. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. I like the Street Profits. Uh, let's see what else is on the card. We also have Logan Paul just signed a WWE contract extension. He's gonna be fighting The Miz. The Miz did turn on Logan Paul at WrestleMania, so there's a little bit of a beef going on. But I have Logan Paul defeating The Miz tonight. Um, should be a good one because I'm kind of curious of how Logan Paul is going to turn out in this match now that he's going to be on a match on his own. So, uh, I think he's going to have a decent match. Um, they should work well together. Uh, I think Maurice might be at ringside for the Miz's match. Probably. This is a big event. I don't see why not. Um, one other match is on the card. There's only 8 matches on the card, so I think this is the last one I'll mention. It's Happy Corbin going up against Pat McAfee. Corbin has been attacking McAfee behind the broadcasting desk at events, and this rivalry will come to an end probably tonight. And I noticed the odds have been favoring Pat McAfee to win this one. That'll probably be the big payoff, but I have a feeling that Happy Corbin might actually win this one, and he should be able to bounce back and get back in the win column again, because I've noticed Happy Corbin has been losing a few matches ever since losing to Madcap Moss. So yeah. I want to also mention that the Intercontinental Championship is not being featured tonight. It might be an impromptu match, but Gunther is not. I don't think he's going to be on the show tonight. So we'll see. They might add something in the meantime, but in the meantime, he's not listed right now. So stay tuned, right? Okay. So I want to transition over to I'll do a quick mention here. The San Diego Padres, now that the All-Star festivities are over now, Juan Soto won the Home Run Derby. The American League came back and won against the National League the day after. So now that the Padres are back starting their second half of their season, so the the Padres, they beat the Twins last night 10-1, coming home from a rough road trip up in Detroit. Um, Technically, the Padres have not won a game in Detroit in 53 years, but they were to get one of three games. Um, they could have won two out of three actually, but the the last game, the rubber match between the Tigers and the Padres, that was a bitter pill to swallow because the Padres were leading 3-2 on the Tigers. The count was 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Taylor Rogers gave up a 2-run double, which brought in 2 runs for the Tigers to win not only the game 4-3, but they won the series from the Padres 2 out of 3. And unfortunately, the Tigers are actually the worst team in baseball right now, so that was a bitter pill to swallow. Um, but yeah, what happens happens. Um, there are some trade talks going on right now. Padres are trying to get Shohei Ohtani. They're also trying to get Juan Soto. But a lot of trade capital is going to have to be used for that. So, um, so, um, you know, hopefully the Padres will fix their bullpen problems, but to add another bat is also a great thing too. I'm hoping they can hit a big splash and get one of the two, either Soto or Otani, but we'll see what happens. I mean, in a way, the Padres probably don't need another starting pitcher, but I wouldn't mind going after another pitcher if you want to have a deep rotation going forward. Right now, the Padres are still the number 5 seed in the National League playoff race, and they're just trailing the Atlanta Braves for the first wild card. If the playoffs ended right now, the Padres and the Braves will be facing each other, and it's a best of 3 series in the wild card round, and all 3 games will be actually played in Atlanta as of right now, as the standings will indicate. So, um, now the Padres do have a 2.5 game lead on both the Cardinals and the Phillies. The Cardinals and Phillies are actually tied for the very last playoff spot. And right now we have 61, 62 games left in the season. So the Padres need to get working, try to maintain their spot. I don't think they're going to catch the LA Dodgers for the NL West title. So I'm just looking forward to just being in the playoffs again and play good baseball and be consistent. And if it comes to it, we're gonna have to face the Dodgers at some point. And to fight the Dodgers, you got to have offense and have pitching will hold up as long as possible until whoever can get the best offensive groove going on. So yeah. Uh, I did mention that the Padres did beat the Twins last night, 10-1. So today, Joe Musgrove is on the mound tonight, and I think the Padres will beat the Twins tonight, but it should be a good one. I'll be watching that game at Pitchers as well, so I'm going to be showing up at Pitchers at 4 o'clock today, and watch Padres and Twins, and then it'll lead up to UFC. And at the same time, I'll be watching WWE Summerslam. So it should be a fun Saturday at Pitchers for me. Get some good food. Okay, so the final thing I want to talk about, my review of the comedy shows at the Boxing Club downtown last Saturday and the Above Ash Social on Thursday, also downtown San Diego. So on Saturday, I may have mentioned before, um, I guess that's my phone. Um, you know, uh, um, the event is hosted by Benji Reyes. And for those that remember in my last episode, Benji Reyes actually banned me for life from his shows going forward. And I decided to show up anyway. So no real incident, but I can tell that Benji and I, we saw each other, but we didn't speak to each other. So um I guess he's holding a grudge against me. So I guess last Saturday was the last time I'll be at any of his events. So, I can find some other comedy productions to look look forward to. So let's start with my review of Saturday. So it was at the Boxing Club downtown, great venue. I got to be close to a boxing ring. It was kind of cool. Um, uh, Great lineup, top to bottom. Um, there was Cash Habib. He did great. Um, had a good set. Um, there was also Dee Steps. She was funny. I like her stand up. Some new material, but I do remember some old material too that she brought up. Um, uh, see, I should actually try to rate these ones, right? So there's also Benji Reyes too, since he's the producer slash comic, and I I guess again I failed to acknowledge that. So yeah. There was also Rachel Sterling. She was on the show. Great job. Um, hmm, oh yeah, there was Jose Barrientos. Uh, he was on there. Funny guy. I may have mentioned before that he was a Merrimack High School alumni um, from an later class than me. Since I graduated in 2001, I think he graduated in 2004. Um, and then your headliner was Facial. Uh, was it Facial Lawrence? He goes by the real face on Instagram. So, um, let's start with Benji Reyes. I kind of gave his comedy on a scale from 1 to 10. Um, I would say 5 out of 10. He has some good jokes, but uh, there were some jokes that didn't catch on pretty well with the audience. Not a full room of laughter, but there was some laughter. So I think it was 5 out of 10 for Benji Reyes. Then you got Cash Habib. I think his comedy was let's say 6.5 out of 10. I liked his act. Um then you got Rachel Sterling. Um, her comedy, I believe, was, I would say, 7.5 out of 10. I remember she had some new material, but she mixed in with some old material that I remember too. So, oh, and the producer of the Boxing Club show was Ryan Archuleta. His comedy, I think his comedy was about maybe, let's say 8 out of 10. Um, that was my first time seeing Ryan Archuleta perform. I've seen Cash, I've seen Benji, I've seen Rachel. Um, DD Steps, I think her comedy was pretty good. Um, I would say, um, let's say maybe 7 out of 10. That's probably my third time seeing her. Um, and then Jose Barrientos, funny guy. I gave his comedy, um, I would say a, hmm, let's say 9.5 out of 10. He has some cool material mixed in with some old ones too, and uh, it's kind of cool because you know, since I kind of know him, and then I got to talk to him for a little bit. Um, I did see him at the mic drop. uh, yeah, I saw him at the mic drop. Um, Funny guy. Um, I like his material. It's like I feel like I get into it, and he does kind of mix in some new ones. Um, so it's good seeing him. And then the headliner, Vishal Lawrence. Vishal Lawrence, I think, was super funny. It's my first time seeing him too, and I think for the night, I think his comedy was, uh, I would say 9 out of 10. Yeah. So yeah, that's my review of the Boxing Club comedy show, produced by Ryan Archuleta, featuring the production also from Up Comedy show from Benji Reyes. And then let's talk about the Cash Comedy hosted by Cash Habib. So he had an event at the Above Ash Social. It was 16 floors up. You get to see the nightlight of San Diego downtown. Um, he had featured comics like Connor Costello, Kylie Troop, Sarah Hirschberg, um, Cash himself, and then you got the headliner Trenton Davis. My first time seeing Trenton Davis. So um, let's see, Cash again. His stand-up I give uh let's say 7 out of 10. He did have some old material that I remembered. Um, he might have put in some new material. And he also kind of incorporated the Asian guy, all the way to my left side, because he was, having different temperature things going on. It was kind of a hot night, but then we're on the rooftop, so there was a kind of a wind chill. But he also was eating ice cream, and he also needed to wear a sweater and needed a blanket. So there was a mention from Cash that, do you need like a blanket because we're at a hotel? It was, the hotel, we're at the rooftop of a hotel. So, um, oh yeah, beautiful ladies out that night too. So that's actually a great spot. Um, you know, great eye candy, Uh, but aside from that, yeah, there's Cash. I remember Kylie Troop started off her comedy. I think this might have been the first or second time I've seen Kylie Troop. Um, she does work at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, so that's how I remembered her. And uh, it was great talking to Kylie after the show too, especially Cash. Um, so with Kylie's stand up, I give it 8 out of 10 from Thursday night. Um, and then the one after that, I think it was um I think it was Connor. It was either Connor or Sarah, but let's start with Connor. Connor Costello. His comedy, I actually remembered his comedy. Um, I give Connor's stand up also 8 out of 10. Funny guy. Got to talk to him after the show too. Um, and then there was Sarah Hirschberg, and I got to talk to her along with Connor and Kylie. I like to do that after shows. Sarah's stand up, I give 8 out of 10 as well. Um, I remember she had a bit about the sex. Uh, her neighbors are having sex at her place, in her complex, and how you have neighbors having sex to the left of her and to the right of her. Um, one being, you know, loud, sex, um, good sounding sex on one side, and you have like a cat throwing up sound, having cat throwing up sound to describe people having sex to the other side of Sarah at her complex. So that was funny. And then she also had another bit about healing crystals. I actually related to that because I wore my two bracelets with the triple protection, tiger's eye, and then you got the I think I got one that was like a blue tiger eye or something. Um, obsidian and hematite, hematite. Um, so that was kind of cool talking to the comics after the show. And then you got Trenton Davis, the headliner, super funny guy. A lot of dating jokes and dick jokes and vaccine jokes. I thought the stand up from Trenton Davis was I would say, let's say 9 out of 10. It was pretty cool. So I got to take a picture with all of them. And I can't wait to see a lot of these comics again. So, and then same with the other show at the boxing club. So with Fishal, Jose, Rachel, Dee, Ryan Archuleta, Cash, um, and then seeing Sarah and Connor and Kylie, and then hopefully I see Trenton again. So it was a good week of comedy. I'm going to go to another comedy show next week. Gonna have to look at the schedule, but I'm definitely for sure going to see Jen Live at the Pretty Funny Women show up in Burbank. I'm going to leave San Diego um July August 4th, and I might see Adam Hunter. He's like the UFC Canadian, not Canadian, UFC comedian. I started to pick up on this, that he was basically doing shows, and UFC fighters tend to come to his shows, and he's a funny guy, and he's great at comebacks and improv. So So I look forward to see Adam Hunter. I think he's performing, I think August 5th, Friday night at the Huntington, one of the up in Huntington Beach. So I actually might make my way over there. My other choices are actually seeing Zhao Ying Summers. She's going to be at the Laugh Fact. She might be at the Laugh Factory on the 5th as well. But between the two, I think I want to see Adam Hunter. Um, but we'll see how my schedule goes at the end of next week. So, and I want to mention that I'm actually going to see the Chargers training camp practice on Saturday morning, August 6th. So make a weekend out of it. So, all right, guys. Those are my predictions for tonight's event, my review of the comedy shows this past week, and looking forward to Chargers training camp and a couple more comedy shows coming up. So yeah. So I guess the whole thing is like this video and the other episodes I produced. Subscribe so you'll see more content from me every week. And you know what, guys? Have a fun weekend. Enjoy all the events. Watching UFC, WWE, going to comedy shows, eating great food, um, and or do other things too, like walking on the beach, surfing, playing pool, watch movies. Yeah, so you know what, guys? Have a lot of fun, be safe, and I'll catch you guys all later. Tiggy Maximus signing off. Bye, guys. Tiggy Maximus Bruce. Go Lakers, go Padres, go Chargers. Woo! Woo! Woo!